Hey everyone, Christian here. Thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips on how to become a better developer. Let me start off with a little introduction about myself. I am currently a web developer for a company. We work on lab software. I wasn't always a web developer, and I am still pretty new in the career field aspect of it. But I'm going to share with you some of the things that I did along the way to make the transition from the job that I was doing before. I was a restaurant manager into the job that I wanted, something that I've been passionate about and something that I've been doing for a very long time on my own. Everything I know is pretty much self-taught, and I had a little bit of schooling towards the end for that final push to jump out of my career that I was comfortable in for so long. And then it's important to know that the main things you should be asking yourself before even thinking about becoming a developer is A, why do I want to become a developer? Is it because everyone around me is doing it? Is it because it's good money? Is it because it's the future? If you answered yes to all of those, to be honest with you, that's not a good reason. You have to enjoy something to be good at it and to actually care about it, really. You can learn how to code and you can get a job as a developer and you can stay in one spot if you're in it for the wrong reasons, or you won't last long because there's people that are passionate about it, like myself and a lot of people, and they're constantly learning. They're never stopping the learning process because it is a never-ending learning process. That's probably the biggest reason why I'm so interested in it. It's because I'm always learning new stuff and it's fun. I love it. So if it's something that you love to do and you're passionate about and you've done it or you've dabbled in it a little bit and you're positive this is what I want to do and you want to get out of your current situation, then I would highly recommend going for it. So let's get to the tips. Okay, so you're starting out, you might even be going to a coding boot camp, you might have already gone to one, you might have been self-taught, you might have graduated with a computer science degree. Now you're looking for a job, or you're trying to sustain your education and continue going and getting the best opportunity possible, whatever it is that you're looking for. Obviously, this number one tip is practice. Don't stop. Once you stop learning, don't stop learning. Continue learning. Do it on your own. And tutorials are great, but I'm not just talking about tutorials. Basically, this tip is practice. Practicing makes perfect. You've heard it a million times, everybody has, but it's really true. I mean, you can't just pick up a tennis racket and expect to be a pro tennis player in one day. You have to continue to practice and practice and practice and practice, and it takes time. And tutorials are great for that, but what's even better is real world practice. Making sites for other people, working. And it's fun too, because you'll be making money in the meantime. You don't necessarily need the career to do that. There's so many platforms out there nowadays. Like we have Fiverr, we have Upwork, and then we have word of mouth. For example, when I finished my little code school, I got out and I put some ads on Fiverr, I put some ads on Upwork, I did a few things over there, and then I started picking up bigger jobs. Now I'm in my career, but I still have side projects and people come to me, and I have been recommended by other people, and it kind of helps me out. I don't really even have to look anymore. If I want to pick up a side project, it usually comes to me, and it's really great. So I think that the best experience and the best way to practice is by actually doing it, by solving a problem for another person, not by copying what somebody's doing in a tutorial. Even though that stuff is helpful, you're going to want to have to learn real world experience. Tip number 2 is going to be one thing at a time. Take it easy. You do not have to learn every framework out there. You do not have to learn every language. You don't have to be a sysadmin, a front-end developer, a back-end developer, a database administrator. You just need to do one thing at a time. If you do try to learn all these different things at once, which I have fallen down that hole so many times, you'll get so far off track you will not know how to get back. Here's what happens. You're learning something. Let's say you're learning React. Then you watch a video and you see all these things and you want to know how to do DevOps. You want to be able to push your application and automatically deploy changes and all this stuff. And now you're diving in, all of a sudden you're diving into Docker, like I'm diving into right now. You're diving into Docker, and then you're diving into CI, and then you're diving into all this crazy stuff, and then months go by or weeks go by, and you go back and you're working on your React project finally again, and you don't remember half the stuff that you were learning. You picked up a few things along the way, but unless you stick to something for a long time and you ingrain it into your system, into your habits, and then you won't retain that information. So there's so many things out there. There's different things to learn, all this cool stuff, but that's something that you need to do one thing at a time. Don't overwork yourself. Don't overload your memory. Get good at something and move on to the next one. There's nothing wrong with learning all those different things, but before you start learning something else, make sure that you know the thing that you were just learning first. Tip number 3 is build projects. See, the way things work nowadays is it's not so much anymore about your degree in this field. It's not so much about everything that you've learned in the past and all these different achievements you've got. It's about what you can show. What do you have to show us to prove that you're capable of working with us or working in this company and using this and that? You need to show something. So a lot of us, and this is common for all of us, is we like to start something and it's a little like side project or whatever, and maybe it's not a multi-million-dollar app and it might not mean anything to us in the end, but it's something that we started on a tutorial or we started on our own just as an idea, and then all of a sudden another idea comes into our heads, and then we're on to the next one, and we leave that project there, and it's not finished. And if you were just to finish that project and have it done, put it up on the internet, host it, have a portfolio site, and on your portfolio site you can have all your projects on there so that people can see them. So this way, when you're looking for a job, a good job, the first thing they're going to do is go to your site and see what work you've done. It's also important to maintain a GitHub repository and use GitHub as much as possible to push your code and have it up there to display, so that other people can look at it and they can judge if you have the skills it takes to get the job. So build projects. Doesn't have to be anything massive, but if you start something, try to finish it, because you can't show an unfinished project where you can only click on a few links and it works, and then you go over to this page and it's broken. I know it's hard, but a lot of projects of mine have ended up in the project graveyard and are unfinished, and this is one thing that I would do different, is I would make sure that I finish all those projects. That way I'd have more to show for myself, because when I was looking for a job, I had a few websites that I built that were good to show for my freelance work that I did, but when it came to the more technical stuff like React and stuff like that, like I didn't have a lot of complete stuff. My portfolio looked really cool, but I didn't have any like complete apps, even if it was a simple one. So that's something I'm working on too. So I always recommend building projects, little ones, finishing them, having them on the internet and available for other people to see, to check you out. Tip number 4 is going to be persistence. Persistence is the key here. See, persistence is not giving up, not stopping, trying harder and harder and harder every single time. So when I was first started looking for a developer job out there, I know that I didn't have a computer science degree. I didn't have like an intense boot camp under my belt. I didn't have any years of like physical career experience. So I was kind of nervous, but you know, I had such a ambition and I wanted this so bad to be my career and what I do for a living, that I was persistent. I didn't stop. I applied everywhere. And if you see an ad online and it says you got to have this, that, all this stuff, and you think that you qualify for what they're looking for, don't be shied away by what that ad says. Please apply to it, because you never know. A lot of these places will put up computer science degree, you know, but most of the people that they end up hiring don't have them. They just say that to filter out some people, and it actually works. So if you think you qualify for something and you see something that you like, go for it. Well, the worst thing that can happen is they can say no. But I promise you that there is thousands and millions probably of jobs out there that you can get, that you will get. You just have to continue to try and try and try. And persistence also comes in the way of learning something. So if you're learning something new and you run into a few hiccups and you look at it and your brain just is all over the place and you can't process it, you don't understand what's going on, don't give up. If it's something that you really want to learn and you know that it's going to be beneficial to you and what you want to do, why are you going to stop learning it? There's always a way to learn something. You just have to break it down into smaller pieces and consume it like that. It might take you a little while to learn. You might have to look at a little bit more of the details. But what I find the best way for me is if I break it up into smaller pieces and I learn about this part of it, then I go on to this part and I start looking up what this means, what that means, and you get an in-depth understanding of what's going on. And everything after that just starts to flow and it makes sense. So be persistent, don't give up. It's all about keeping at it and making sure that you get what you want. Tip number 5, what's your goal? Okay, this is important. You need to have a goal in mind. You need to know what you want to do. Just like everything else in life, really, you need to have something planned out that you like to do and that you want to do, and you have to have a reason for doing it. So for example, let's say you want to work with JavaScript, you want to work with React, you want to work as a front-end developer or a back-end developer. You don't just go online and look at ads and say, you see something, a company that you're interested in, say, oh, okay, they're looking for a sysadmin. I'm going to learn sysadmin. Then you start learning it and you hate it, but you learn it anyways because you want to work at this company. That doesn't make sense. You need to know what you want to do. What do you want to do? Do you want to work with WordPress? Do you want to work with PHP? Do you want to do front end? Do you want to do back end? Do you want to do React? There's a million possibilities out there. So try to narrow it down to exactly what framework, language you want to work with, what side you want to work on, the back or the front or both. And then even more than that, what do where do you want to go with this, like 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road? Do you want to own your own company? Do you want to be a freelancer? Do you want to work for Facebook? Do you want to work for Google? You have to have these long-term goals too. And then on your way there, you're going to figure out what steps you have to take to get to that goal. Like what can I learn now that I know that this company's using that I really want to join, to make myself closer to them, so I can get closer to being inside that company, if that's really what you want to do. And I'm telling you, if it's really hard to set goals for yourself and keep them in your mind and keep going at them. But if you have a clear set of focused goals and you're working towards it, you will get there. You'll get there. You won't even realize it. And then one day you'll be like, holy cow, I'm working at Facebook now. Or holy cow, I have my own software company. But it's important to know ahead of time where you want to go with this. How much money do you want to make? How many people do you want to work with? Do you want to be in a big company, a small company? Just in your head, picture the dream, the ultimate goal for you. What do you want to get out of this whole thing? Okay, and I think that's it. I think that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Christian. This is a newer YouTube channel. I plan on releasing videos every week, whether it be tutorials or videos like this. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you do, please don't forget to leave a like. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and subscribe to my channel for all the newest content. Thank you.